Welcome to another edition of the Dementia Care Partner Talk Show. Now, here's dementia care expert Teepa and your host, Greg Phelps.
Hello and welcome to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Relias Online Learning. I'm your host, Greg Phelps, along with Teepa Snow. And Teepa, don't stop me if you've heard this before. A new study finds dementia risk might be determined by lifestyle rather than age. According to a recent Baycrest research, adults without dementia risk factors like smoking, diabetes, hearing loss, brain health comparable to that of 10 to 20. How many times have you heard a recent study?
It's like, okay, the grass is green, Greg. Had you checked that out? Let me go out and look. Yep, it's green. Oh, I went out in the backyard. Guess what color it was? I had to do a study because I wasn't sure. I took out my color palette. It looks to be green. I went out the front this morning and it looked green, but with a slightly different color on it. But I was checking it out and it still appears to be green. It's like, good to know.
Well, I think we should check the grass in Canada and the United States, Teepa, because there could be some difference,
Please, no. So I think, sometimes restating those of us who've been in it a while, the obvious, I guess they're still trying to catch people's eye. I guess they're still feeling like something new. I don't know, because if we don't do something with the stuff, why do we keep bringing it up?
Well, but there are valid points to some of these studies. Like there is dementia risk with smoking, diabetes, hearing loss.
Oh, yeah.
But have we beat people to death to the point now where we're almost numb to some of that?
People don't want that answer to be the answer. You do know what we want the answer to be, right?
I'm okay.
Well, that's one answer. And the other one is, here's the pill that you could take, and you don't need to do all that stuff. That stuff is hard work. I want to keep doing what I like to do. I've got habits. I've got routines. I just want to keep doing it. And we also want to say, if I don't have those habits and routines, and I'm not doing those things that you shouldn't do, then I won't get dementia. And it's like, well, none of those are true. It's not prevention and it's not cure. And I think, quite honestly, that's what people would really like to have. And so I guess these are reminders that this isn't going to be like that. And that's hard because we want it to be like that.
Well, we grew up going to the doctor, and if you left with a prescription, you felt better.
Yeah. Well, or if you went and he said, you don't need a prescription, you're fine. Then it was like, I'm fine. Well, I don't feel fine. So then we go to another type of doctor, and maybe find somebody who would agree with us that there's something going on. But we also had a mind-body dichotomy in Western medicine, where if it wasn't physical, then it was mental. And, we hoped it was physical. But if it was mental, well, then you need to go get mental help. And dementia is this weird thing that's combination thing. I mean, just like whether it's vascular or Alzheimer's or any of the dementias, it has a physiological and a physical and a emotional element to it. So it's complicated. And people don't like complicated. We want it to be just one or the other. This is just like complicated.
But we can't ignore the risk factors because each of those, according to this latest study, smoking, drinking, those things, can shorten your cognitive lifespan by up to 3 years. So if you combine 10 of them, you might be doing an awful lot of irreparable damage that you're going to pay for that later.
Yeah, but the primitive part of your brain finds such pleasure in doing it now. And so this is where, we're putting our brain at war.
Okay, now I'm a man. Did you just say I had a primitive brain? Is that what?
We all have primitive brains, and what keeps us going when we sleep, and what keeps us going when we're not thinking. And so the part of our brain, and it's a very primitive part that's really liking what it likes, and when it gets it, it's so satisfied that it forgets that there's a threat. And so we read about the threat and we go, oh yeah, I should stop drinking, but maybe on Fridays, just on Fridays. And then Friday comes, and then it becomes Saturday. And it's hard to limit what you like sometimes when it feels like, but that's the one thing I like. Why can't I do it? I'll just do a little bit. And then the little bit becomes a little bit more. And it's like, well, I should exercise. I will tomorrow. So I'll put it off. Those things that we know are good. Yeah, I should get my hearing checked. Yeah, I should do that. You know what? They're coming out next month with over the counter. So I think I'll wait to over the counter hearing aids so I don't have to go see the audiologist. We'll just try and see what happens. Well, oh yeah, I forgot to stop by and do that. It's not bothering me.
Is this kind of like the lectures that we used to get from our parents that we should start saving?
Probably. And, the only safe sex is no sex. And, the other things they tell us, don't drive too fast, whether the police are looking or not. Don't drink and drive. Don't do this. I mean, don't. Brains don't. Brains do something. So if you don't put something in place of the don't, the brain will find it and do it. That's what brains do. They do stuff. They're meant that way. So we got to figure out how to fill the gaps with things that we enjoy, like, or at least don't bother us as much, or we keep doing what we're doing. It's just
so life expectancy years ago was quite short. We won't get into the gory details on that. Is that why dementia, Alzheimer's wasn't as much of a thing that people are aware of? Because all of a sudden there seems to be this awareness, but we get our awareness usually too late.
Yeah. Well, that's certainly a big part of it. When you die, men were dying by age 45, women were 36 back, at turn of the century because of lack of antibiotics, childbirth, lots of accidents and injuries. We've changed a lot of things. And so our lifespan has gone over, what is it? You're supposed to live 4 score and 10, 3 score and 10. 20 times. I guess it's 70. You were supposed to live to 70, and that was a ripe old age. I mean, that's not a ripe old age anymore. And so, people talk about the new 65. 65 is the new 40. That idea that we are living much longer and classically somewhat better, but our bad habits might actually catch up with us more because we live longer. And we also, our hormones continue to change. And, maybe they'll find the magic. But as of right now, I'm not ordering mine online. I just, I'm going to figure out what I do with what I've got and figure out what I can get myself to tolerate and what I can get myself to enjoy that isn't quite so harmful. And maybe learn to live with my decaf coffee and cut it off at noon and switch to water and be satisfied with that.
Teepa, stop me if you've heard this one before. A new study, just kidding, don't stop me. A new study finds Alzheimer's disease disrupts at least one form of visual memory by degrading a newly identified circuit that connects vision processing centers of each brain hemisphere. Now, remember you talking something about these brain hemispheres, and it's sort of like the globe. We got different countries up there, and this one doesn't talk to that one, and that one's at war with that one, and So, did that surprise you about the vision disconnect thingy?
Not a bit. And so it explains why, as dementia is making its way in the brain, I look at my toothbrush and think, let me think. Is that for my teeth, or is that, what do you use that for? Oh yeah, my hair. Or I go at it by the wrong end. I look at the handle end and think, well, what do I do with that? I put it in my mouth, don't I? So all of a sudden, my brain memory of that's that object, that's how you use that object. That's that building. That's the building where you go for groceries. And when you're in that building, that's where you will find the bread that you're looking for. I mean, it's way complicated, but that wiring phenomena allows us to live life the way we live it. And if that's not happening, I'm stuck.
I have to ask, Teepa, with all of these studies that come out, and I quoted a couple of in this podcast and talked about another dozen that I'd read before recently, has a study ever come out that has really stunned you and said, damn it, I knew that, but I didn't quite put it all together? Has that ever happened?
Usually it's there it is, the thing that I sort of was thinking, and sure enough, there it is. There was one that really was like, oh, wow, okay, well, that's a whole nother level. And that's when I first started looking at cerebellum work, the little brain, and the value of the little brain in recognizing emotional reaction and recognizing, oh, we're not doing business as usual. Let me kick this up a level and let me notify the threat signals that we might be threatened here, and thinking, can you take it, or is it a threat? You need to take it, primitive brain, because I can't do the automatic because there's something going on here. And that for me was a real, so that means the wiring and things going on in the more what we call the automatic sort of pattern brain is maybe impacted by dementia. That was for me like, oh, well, now that gives us a whole new area to explore, doesn't it?
And your gift is being able to take what you know and explain it to me in like, you're not going to mansplain this to me. You're going to tell me things that, I'll have that same epiphany that you had.
That's my goal, is to try to figure out how, when I have an aha, I can figure out how to share something with you so you get to have your aha. But yours may not be exactly in the same spot or the same way. But it's like, maybe if I figure out how to use visual and auditory and movement cues, maybe that might, if I combine all those in a certain way, maybe that'll help you.
Teepa, if somebody has a question, I know sometimes you're hard to talk to because you're on the road 1,000,000 miles a year or something like that. And so are there other people that I can phone, or can I chat with somebody? Can I email somebody and get information?
Yeah, we have a lot of connections at Positive Approach to Care. We're really open to chat online, call our 800 number, get up with our consult folks, or info@teepasnow.com. And we have twice a month, we have Ask Teepa Anything and Dementia Problem Solving, because we really want to open this up for, if you have a question, probably other people might too. And if we listen to each other, maybe that will generate a question that maybe would help. So we do those a couple of evenings a month to try to make connections. And those are all available for free, that we try to get the word out. And, let me not forget my morning time at about 8 every morning. We either do one live or do a recording of Teepa for 10. And we have live at 5 a couple times a week. So
those are Eastern times, just for us people out on the West Coast.
Those are all Eastern times. For anybody in another part of the world, those are all Eastern times. But, we also record them in general, and they are available on Facebook, on Instagram, variety of places, just like our podcasts are, so that people can access stuff when they need it, when they want it, in a way that works for them.
Teepa, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You've been listening to the Dementia Care Partners podcast, brought to you by Relias Online Learning. Relias has recently launched Teepa Snow for Dementia Education on Relias Academy for individual professionals. Search Teepa Snow at reliasacademy.com.
Hi, I'm Teepa Snow, and you just found our YouTube channel and watched one of our videos. I'm the owner and founder of Positive Approach to Care. Thanks for watching. And if you have a comment about, or you would, please share it with people you know. And if you haven't yet done it, consider subscribing. We'll let you know when the next new video comes out. And you might want to visit our website, www.teepasnow.com, where you'll find other resources as well. See you there.